Welcome back to the Lanterne Rouge Cycling Podcast, brought to you by a T-Rex suit from the Hagemo to Bordeaux, 175 kilometers long. And this is what it looks like when you lose the LRCP Giro prediction contest. And as promised, I'm in a dinosaur suit. It turned up from Amazon literally like next day, and it's way too big. For the audio quality at home, we're going to turn off the self-perpetuating fan at the background in a second. And also because this is literally the biggest thing ever. But consider my debt paid. I'm going to turn it off now. Oh.
You've never looked so good,
Mrs.
Patrick.
Rouge, I might need help. I can't get it out.
He's stuck. People help, he's stuck. Oh my god.
Oh my. Okay.
Right. Patrick. Yeah, I gotta say, I liked you better with the suit on.
All right. We continue. Sorry about that, but yeah, I had to do that. Hopefully I win the Tour de France one. I will do it back up again. But yeah, we have a sprint stage today with Tim Merlier as my pick. Benji picked Jasper Philipsen, maybe.
No, I picked Merlier, buddy. Sorry. Your dinosaur suit is getting kept for the Vuelta.
So on that point, since there was consequences for incorrect picks, don't you think our picks' behavior has changed significantly for this Tour de France?
Well, based on your pick yesterday, I don't think your behavior has changed.
I picked a UAE rider still, but yeah, we basically we both picked who we thought was the best for. If he misses once, he generally doesn't miss a second time. It's 175 Ks. There's only one KOM, Category 4, 1,400 meters, 5%. There's nothing much for the breakaway. And Caja Rural, they did listen to what I said, which was to,
what you said was rawr.
I said, go in your, I say that only after midnight. They say that,
Okay.
yeah, get a Truber in the breakaway. He's with Vestroffa. Get that competitivity prize to know which one of them got it. The intermediate sprint, they weren't brought back before then, so there wasn't the full complement of 25 points on offer, but it really was a sleepy sprint stage. Like no wind. Thankfully, it's cooler conditions here now. And yeah, it was a sleepy stage. That's why we also did this gimmick at the start.
It was definitely a sleepy stage. We tried to test the drive you wearing it the whole podcast, but it was completely unbearable, and also for audio quality. And it's still a podcast, but I consider your debt paid, Patrick. It's something that will live rent free in my head for the rest of my life. And maybe if a new Jurassic Park comes out, you might be able to be cast as a little dinosaur on the side, because the suit is big, but you're pretty fucking tiny. Anyway,
exactly. What dinosaur would I have been? That's a good point.
Like, there's this scene in Jurassic Park. I've been rewatching the Jurassic Park movies, but there's a scene in like maybe the second or the third one with like all these tiny dinosaurs on a beach attacking someone. You're one of those tiny dinosaurs.
Yeah, I'm one of I'm like the ones with the arms, the wings that couldn't fly. Like they evolved in a weird way. Anyway, X, I want to give credit to them today. They tried multiple times to get in the breakaway. They not really in the break, like to create a new breakaway.
Yeah,
there wasn't much for them to play with in terms of parkour. There wasn't much for anyone wanting to join them. But they did it, and credit to them. They tried to launch Abrahamsen 3 times, was it? Was Skarseth the new Norwegian natty champ 3 different times? I think they tried to launch him somewhere.
Basically, and it's always what we discussed already in the past. Like, if you have a sprinter that is not the top sprinter, then you should try and hedge your bets on sprint stage. Maybe there's an argument to be made of resting if your riders are really completely done for because of the mountain stage and the heat. But in this specific stage, X had both the sprinter in Warenskill for the final sprint and an attacker in Abrahamsen doing his absolute best to get away. In doing so, burning domestiques for teams like Soudal Quickstep. Van Barle got burned in, I think, the second attack by Abrahamsen. And then the third attack was, I think, maybe Alpecin closing it down. Not completely sure, but there were definitely riders being burned team by team in the process. So that's what I like a lot about this move. But also, on the other hand, I also enjoyed the Lotto activities, because we jokingly said yesterday, if I was Lotto, I wouldn't go in the break anymore after yesterday's UCI commissaire scolding. Baptiste Weisschoffer apparently has been getting criticism from other riders, according to France TV, for going in the breakaway on flat stages. I'm sorry, but what? Like, is it not a bicycle race?
Like on his team, or
no, externally apparently.
What's the criticism about?
The concept that I could read was on long flat stage, why are you going in the breakaway?
I got a reality check for a lot of the riders in this World Tour in the World Tour peloton. And listen, neither of us have raced, but I got a reality check for a lot of them. You could probably help your career if you were seen on television a little bit more. And everybody knows who Vestroffer is. And I understand, I understand, we pick on Total. Like, Total should be in the breakaway, right? They got no sprinter. Turgis should not be in the breakaway. Delettre should not be in the breakaway. These guys, it makes sense for them to save for stage 9 on Sunday, where they can really go for the win. Like, Turgis won a week 1 Tour de France stage 2 years ago. But with all due respect, there's a lot of other riders who should be doing what Vestroffer's doing, and the lack of animo for the biggest race on the calendar. I know it's early, but still, I know it's hot, but I would turn the criticism if I was him the other way around.
Exactly. It's a bicycle race. He's doing what needs to be done, and especially as well, I think you spoke about Caja Rural knowing their place. If they hadn't been in the breakaway today, they would have had some Rex-plaining to do. Get it?
Well,
Rex-plaining?
But they still had a sprinter up there who got closed to the barriers, but it's more like a Truba. This is what a Truba's in a team for. This is what a Truba's good at. Tirreno Adriatico, he was really strong in a breakaway, and you think, okay, why don't we have 4 in the breakaway? If we have Total, Caja, Vestroffer, they're not going to win. 99% of the time, they're not going to win. But 1% of the time, they might. And at least they get into the last 10Ks, probably, with that level. But anyway.
Patrick, what do you call a blind dinosaur?
I don't know.
Do you think he saw us?
It's not Christmas cracker time. Pulling out the joke.
Sorry.
I've never laughed. Maybe that's... Yeah. I never laughed at them. I'm not good at Christmas. Vestroffer and Atruba are caught after Abrahamson's nearly launched again. Dylan van Baarle has to do a dead pull to bring back the Scarseth Abrahamson lead out. We get to apparently 7.2 Ks to go. We saw there was narrowing on the right-hand side. Picnic Post NL. They told their riders, be really cautious of this. 6 Ks to go. We saw the same as the other day. Literally the same as the other day. Cofidis to the front at 6 Ks to go to 4 Ks to go. Too early with the full train. Benjamin Thomas, they're going for... Page is on 1 minute 44, so I guess they're going for Bretin.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you think?
Have to be. Yeah. Bretin's a better sprinter.
But he's not French.
As a Belgian, that is an offensive sentence to tell me.
French team, French race.
I don't care.
But you're not the director at Cofidis.
I don't think they care either.
I agree.
They've got enough Belgian riders that I think they care about Belgium as a market.
I think they care about results, probably.
I remember the day that in 2008, the Tour de France was supposed to start in Ghent, and it didn't. It started in Gistel instead, my home city. And in doing so,
not a city.
It is officially a city. You can look it up. That to the side, ever since that date, I had this tiny wallet from Cofidis, and that's how I fell in love with David Moncoutier in the late 2010s.
Yeah.
It's a city.
Okay. It's a municipality.
It's what? No, it's a city.
Of 8,000 people.
It's a city of 8,000 people, correct.
Okay.
Why are you judging me?
I'm not. I'm just.
You're the one in the dinosaur suit.
I'm just judging how you define cities.
I didn't define them.
Yeah. The Cofidis are there too early, and I'll bring you forward to now 3.6 Ks to go. Ineos sort of get in between them, so we have really Ineos and Cofidis early. They're going for Dorian Godon, and they're going for Fretin, as we said. Alpecin sitting behind them, but Alpecin together today. So Alpecin, the other day, they were 2, 2, and 1. They were separated on... They couldn't get to each other and formed a lead-out. Alpecin's lead-out is, I think, Ricard, Plancart, Van der Poel, then Philipsen, I think is the order. And we have Astana, who we're trying to do... Astana got a small lead-out of Ballerini, Gate, Turnus, Cantor, 3 guys. I mean, no one really has the big lead-outs anymore. They just don't exist, which is kind of a shame. I think actually...
Yep.
I think when teams go too much to the... Like, you can see what Sturven and Merlier do. You can see what, like, Laporte and Coy sometimes did, or you see...
The piloting.
The small lead out, and you're like, okay, that can work, so let's invest in other areas of the team. Sometimes I think, why not fucking put 6 90-kilo guys around Johnny Milan? Let's see what happens.
Fair, but that would remind me to the days where you had like a picnic train of 7 riders on one side and they'd break apart.
Yeah.
I do like the idea where you're going, but I would say that you've got these two different ways. Philipsen and Alpecin are the ones with
It's a traditional lead out.
with the traditional lead out, and then on the other hand, maybe Van Ledberger being out is a factor to the fact that he's not there for Quickstep, but it was very clear that Stuyven and Merlier were the duo here for Quickstep, except for the fact that for the majority of the run into the sprint, Stuyven was not with Merlier. He was at the front waiting for Merlier to come up, right?
And that's experience, that's trust. And I'll take you, if you want to watch the overheads, with 3Ks to go, Stuyven's fourth wheel. He's fourth wheel, and Merlier just works his way himself over to him. Merlier left, he was on Philipsen's wheel, and then he goes right to Fred Wright and follows
Yeah.
him up, I think, or is it Bauhaus? No, Merlier was still sitting on the Alpecins. Coy was in okay position, but he loses Case Bowl there, and then Alpecin comes left. So Coy loses this sprint when he sticks right. It's at 2.4 Ks to go. By the way, they picked a route where loads of overpasses happened, and there was a very long helicopter shot. But 2.4 Ks to go, the Alpecin lead out starts. They break left. Coy stuck right behind Cofidis and Bahrain, and he's done for. He can't get moved up in time. Merlier finds his way to Jasper Stuyven. We didn't really see how, but he's in the and I was saying at 2Ks to go, I said Merlier's won. Merlier's won.
Yeah.
Because he's got Stuyven to pilot him. They're already where you need to be. They've done that in an efficient way without any help. And they've got the lead out of Alpecin early. They've got 3 Alpecins at 2Ks to go with Philipsen into maybe a headwind. To me, that's just Merlier territory.
And you know that inherently when he's in position, he's the best sprinter in the world. I know when he's got a gap, he's going to win the sprint. So for him to not win the sprint, he'd have to be out of position or boxed in, which with Stuyven by his side, I wasn't worried about. There was this one moment, maybe with 800, 700 meters to go, not completely sure, where Stuyven literally like makes space with Merlier in the wheel, and in doing so is like in like 4th or 5th position. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, Stuyven's not going to let this go. But I did feel like the moment that Stuyven pulled off was not perfect.
Yeah, like what you're at 1K to go, Stuyven moves Clement Rousseau out and then puts Merlier on the fast line into the train of Philipsen. And Philipsen's at 1K to go, he's got 2 lead outs. It's not enough, and it's Plancard as well. So unless you have, ideally there you need 3, especially with these wind conditions, you need 3, or you need like a Feeney or I'm trying to think, Ghana, like these guys to take you from 900 to 400, and then hope Van der Poel can take you from 400 to 200 or 175. That doesn't happen, but like you say, Benji, Stuyven, I think he doesn't then create enough space for Phil Merlier. He's trying to keep him boxed. He does do a good job. Merlier's chilling. Case Bowl tries to bring Olav Koy up, and then Gaviria comes on the inside of Merlier, and Merlier nearly gets pinched because Stuyven doesn't realize that Gaviria had taken him off the wheel. Merlier then has to retake the wheel. So there was a moment where, Merlier, he was a bit complacent, and he got taken out of Philipsen's wheel from the inside by Gaviria and Binny. Gaviria, I think he did the perfect sprint. He jumps Philipsen from the inside. Philipsen jumps wide. I think this is a relegation from Philipsen, by the way. We'll get to that in a second. But Merlier has open space to the left. He has to go the long way around. And he just, from a competitive position, that's what we were saying, from a competitive position, Merlier dusts off the shoulders, literally in the celly, and he wins the stage by a bike length over Varun Schold. No problems. Thanks very much for coming. And I'll just for going forward to the overhead. Like MVDP drops Philipsen off at 250. You can't win a Tour de France sprint from 250 with good guys in your wheel. It's just, especially not from a progressive acceleration.
It wasn't a bad lead out by Mathieu van der Poel, but it's clear that he's not at his absolute best in terms of his level.
To me, it's a bad lead out. Look where he leaves him.
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of the length of the lead out that he does, that's what you'd expect the length of a lead out to be. The speed was on point. It's just that he leaves him too early. So
they were 75 meters too early.
Yeah, it's a timing issue. It's not necessarily a bad lead out in the essence of the lead out itself. Do you get what I mean? The drop off is a problem.
He should be on the barrier.
Okay, that's fair.
He should be on the barrier and open the space, and that's why Philipsen did what he did. So Philipsen starts his sprint in the reason he starts his sprint in this way. Then MVDP pulls off left in a dramatic fashion. And he's left in middle, and so Philipsen then swings left,
because that blocks a little bit left if anyone's tried to jump you left. Gaviria is then launched right on the inside with speed. He's jumped him.
And it's his position.
And it's his position. And Philipson, I would say, has established his position. We're bringing back the deviation police, but he has opened his sprint and he's left, I would say, one lane inside. There is a clear daylight for Gaviria.
For sure.
And the line Philipson's established, but then he wants to go back to the barrier because he's trying to like close that third and then moves back in on Gaviria aggressively to the barrier. I mean, yeah, he got relegated for the same thing, no, against Van Aert a couple of years ago. It's the same move. I think it's a relegation, frankly.
I'm trying to hyper-focus on the move. I think that's a yellow card, at least in relegation. Yeah, I think that's fair. Like, Gaviria has a space on the side. I need to see the helicopter view to be sure, and I don't have the helicopter view in front of me. Now I do, actually.
Yeah.
And it goes to the point that Gaviria has to kind of lean on him to keep his position. Yeah. And once you're at that point, you're being dangerous to the rider on the inside. So I would argue that there's an argument for relegation there, that's for sure. But in terms of the sprint, I don't think there's that much to say about the difference between the sprinters, except for the fact that we said it even when Koy won, Tim Merlier is the best sprinter in the world. We had them both at the top of our rankings. We disagreed on Manier versus Koy, but that's impossible to prove because Manier is not at this race. And
we just had a storm take us out. I thought that might happen. Heavy hail here in Andorra, so we have to splice these two audio files together, but hopefully there's no bother. But we restarted the YouTube stream. We just finished saying Tim Merlier is the best sprinter in the world. Benji and I agree on something for once, even though he disrespected Caden Groves 5 years ago. And we'll preview Stage 8. We've got to talk about Remco's comments yesterday. We're going to detail them about Lipovitz. Do we believe, Ralph Denk? They say there's no issues now. But tomorrow's stage from Périgueux to Bergerac, 180.4 kilometers. We have two Cat 4s, an intermediate sprint in between them at Saint-Cyprien. It's a flat sprint. Let me look at the run-in. I mean, after Merlier's exhibition today, I mean, he was missing Sturven in that first sprint because of the crash. And we saw that when Sturven could pilot him, very, very hard to beat him. And as I said, the Alpecin lead-out hasn't got it right yet. We've got a corner. We go over a bridge at 4Ks to go, corner at 2.5, another right-hander at 1, then another right-hander at 500 meters. I think that makes it easier for Alpecin. So I'm going Philipson tomorrow, or Philipson or Koy.
I'll go Merlier.
I think these corners would have helped that Alpecin lead out. I think the fast, they got burned today with the fast 1K straight.
I think that's fair because Merlier benefits from being able to launch left, launch right, launch everywhere. If he's somewhat behind even 3 riders into the last stretch after a corner, then it might get more difficult, but I'm going to bet on the winning man. I'm going to bet on Merlier.
It's finishing in some sort of stadium, or I don't know. There's no Google Street View on it, so I don't even know like what this looks like, what they're turning into.
Just name it.
It's narrow.
From your heart.
I'm going Philipson. I'm going Philipson, 100% Philipson. I think the big lead-out's an advantage tomorrow.
I think that's fair. I'm just worried about his speed. Because
doesn't look fast, does he?
Even at intermediate sprints where Pedersen took like 16 points today, he got cooked by everybody. He's been doing that every day, getting cooked. So, and to be honest, he looked pretty good going into the Tour de France. So I'm surprised by the differential I see in speed. But yeah, I'm worried about Philipsen. But let's hope he proves me wrong, because then we've got a bit of a battle in the sprints upcoming.
The points jersey is looking nice. So Pedersen, I'm not preparing my apology yet, but I'm thinking about it. He's on 204 points. He's been really good at the intermediates. He's done everything he's needed to do there. But today he's 9th and Binny's 3rd. And it's just a huge point delta that Binny can get. And Binny's now 50 points behind still. And everything's gone right for Pedersen. I think he's got the team fully behind it, and Binny looks quick.
I think that's fair. And I think the overwhelming thing we also see today, and also in the last sprint stages, reality is Miss Pedersen is not a bunch sprinter, a pure bunch sprinter. He will always struggle with positioning. He's done it for the last 2 years at least. He has been competitive in sprints better 3 years ago.
He has no lead out here, I think. So I think he's been positioning himself quite well, quite aggressively. I think he's doing it well. I think the problem is there's no lead out.
I think it's a combination of both, to be honest. Like,
give me Eddie Turns.
Eddie Turns had a kid, right? Am I correct?
Yeah, well, he didn't have it.
Well,
he didn't. If Eddie Turns is here I think Pedersen's finishing higher up.
I don't know.
And then what's the kid going to say when they're rewatching intermediate sprints from in 20 years from Wednesday's sprint stage in the Tour de France? They're like, wow. No, I'm being serious. At Edward Turns, I understand why they brought the team they did, but for their goals, I think Derek G. West is a good rider, but in his shape, it's like with Piganzoli. Like, how did Derek G. help Ayuso and Shkelly yesterday? Actually, he brought them bidons at a hard moment. But I'm just saying, like, yeah, they needed one pilot, I think. They're missing a pilot. I don't know who you take out, but they needed a pilot for Pedersen.
Jasper Stuyven.
He's all right too. Did he do a good job? He was involved in the sprint today?
I think it's fair to say he was pretty good at opening up the space for them earlier. But I want to bring up a topic, Patrick, that was highly discussed this morning and yesterday evening, including Remco Evenepoel being vocal in the media. And the direct quote is related to yesterday's stage, because we saw after the Tourmalet, especially on the last climb, the Gavarnie climb, where Remco and Lipovic were in the same group, that Remco was complaining a few times. And it turns out that he was also complaining against his teammate, Lipovic. Before we get to the quote, do you think complaining against Lipovic for those last 30 kilometers is fair?
Oh, so let's do the history.
Okay.
So Remco falls out of GC in Catalonia. They were co-leaders there. On the first long climb, Jonas cooked everybody. Also, Lipovic was like refusing to relay with guys in front because he had the Remco card behind. Remco fell out of GC. Remco could have won a stage in Catalonia. 100% could have won maybe 2 stages, especially the Queralt stage. Remco was a beast on stage, whatever it was. And he sacrificed himself completely on that stage. I can't remember, like, what did it move Lippo up a GC position?
Well, it's better to have him riding for him than not riding for him. I think that's fair to say.
It moved Lipovic onto the GC podium, what Remco did on stage 6.
Correct.
Because Gol got rinsed in the descent. Yes. It took Gol off the podium. So the Remco helped him there.
Note, Catalonia is not the Tour de France. And I think the added factor when it comes to this specific stages, on the Tourmalet, yesterday's stage, Remco was actually dropped by Lipovic on the Tourmalet. So is, on paper, based on the last 6 days, the better pure climber than Remco Evenepoel. It's not a big difference, though. Was it 12 seconds at the top? Maybe 20 seconds?
Between Lipovic and Remco, 20, I think.
Yeah.
I think Lippo did quite a bit better performance, but he wasn't pulling again. He was also playing the Remco card behind. And they basically, then he attacked over the top. I still don't know why he did that. It's very strange.
Lipovic, eh?
Yeah, it's very odd.
Let's go into the valley alone, he was.
Yeah. I understand Remco's frustration. I'm now fully on the Remco. I want Remco third. I'm fully,
Right.
I know I've been critical of Remco quite a lot, maybe too harsh sometimes the last 18 months. I'm all the way back in. Remco's going to save this Tour de France. Remco's giving us quotes. Remco's in great shape. I'm all aboard Remco train.
Okay, but the exact quote was, I think my anger was justified during the Tour of Catalonia. Like you said, I rode 30 kilometers for him. Then I asked him to ride for 1 kilometer for his lead out in yesterday's stage for Remco, and he didn't do it. Now, I do have an issue with this statement. For me, the issue with Lipovic is not that he didn't do a lead out for Remco Evenepoel in the last kilometer. I don't care too much about that lead out, because that might negatively affect Lipovic if he gets countered in a sprint by Ayuso and so forth. I'm more looking at Lipovic in refusing or limiting his relays on the last climb in total. He was just not riding or barely riding, to the point that if they just collaborated, they would have got Jonas Vingegaard and they would have been in the picture for second instead of third at this point.
I agree. Like, they needed to do one or two things, and it's I'd argue there's an argument that Remco should have pulled the group full back to Jonas, but Remco was already pulling more than everybody else. Remco was trying to get back to Jonas. And if you're Lipovic, like, also Red Bull, they know that they can't compete with Pogacar. I think they think, okay, maybe we could, if we stay close to Jonas, we got 2 leaders, he doesn't have another co-leader. Could they get second, because Lipovic was third last year? I don't understand why Lipovitz wasn't relaying full. And in fact, we were then thinking, put Sykes and Del Toro under pressure because they're isolated.
Yep.
We discussed this at the end of the pod yesterday. Go with a Trek ahead. And there were occasions where Lipovitz was shutting groups with Remco himself. And even if it's not going to go anywhere, but make Del Toro do it.
So to summarize my thoughts in 3 sentences, Lipovitz should have pulled more on the climb itself. I don't agree that he should have done a lead out for Remco, but I love that Remco's talking shit in the media because let's be honest about it, in this sport, we need more of that.
Should he have done a lead out for 1K for Remco?
No, in my opinion, no.
Because if Remco beats Del Toro, he's in 3rd in GC right now.
Oh, wow. Are we not playing the long-term game where Lipovitz, in my opinion, is just as likely to podium this Tour de France as Remco and climbing better yesterday and maybe in the coming climbing stage as well?
So we're in the TT. What's Remco going to take?
Lipovitz is not a shit time trialist, so Lipovitz will not be like 2 minutes behind Remco.
Del Toro, I think Remco can really take some time on him.
I think so too.
Sykes, he's a good time trial rider, and if his legs are good,
yeah.
I think the problem is going to be Remco's climbing, especially when he paced himself. So Remco said he deliberately paced himself. So maybe if it was a mountaintop finish, the result is different. But I think, on Solaizon, the problem is if Lipo drops him. But is he going to drop him by that much? I don't know. It's going to be a closer on thing. I don't think Lipovitz should have done a lead out for him. But I also think, like you say, I don't know why Remco was the one having to do all the work in that group. Others should have been doing just as much, if not more.
The funny thing is, as a cycling fan, I love the fact that Remco is talking shit.
Thank God, yes.
From the team of Red Bull Bora, I would not be liking this.
No, it's not ideal. And apparently they spoke about it around the dinner table. Ralph Denk said it's all good. They were laughing and happy together.
And then Remco said this morning, everything has already been discussed. So the past is the past. And now we have to look forward. So
I won't believe it. It's all happening today. I won't believe it until we see a photo or a video with Remco polishing the
legs.
I'm referring to there was a
Quintana, Landa Valverde.
Yeah, so there was a Movistar photo on Twitter a few years ago, 10 years ago maybe almost, and where there was like the Trident leadership issues, and they quashed those issues by posting like a really, really awkward video that's become a meme.
But okay, I love the drama. I'm a bit of a drama frog. Let's hope it continues.
We need this. All right. Thanks for listening as always. We had a lot of things going on today and we've persevered. I think we picked the right stage to do it. Make sure if you want to be finding out why the electricity is shutting off, join our Discord, LRCP Discord, through the link down below on Ko-fi. You can join through there. Talk about the Tour de France with me and Benji. It's running 24/7. We're in there. Well, maybe sometimes I sleep. And that's a good way for you to directly support the podcast. So thanks as always. Until the next one. Ciao, ciao.